There's a certain kind of loneliness you only feel in a room full of people pretending to celebrate. My name is Tessa Lamont. I'm 34, a copy editor at a mid-sized marketing firm, the kind of person you pass in the hallway and nod at but rarely remember later. The invitation to the company's holiday party was sent in all caps. Mandatory fun. There were snowflakes in the email signature and a line about drinks, dancing, and unforgettable memories. I knew better. I don't drink. I don't dance. And I'm very good at being forgotten. Still, I showed up. I wore a simple black dress I bought on sale last year, and flats that didn't quite match. My makeup was minimal. My earrings were borrowed. I spent more time worrying about how not to stand out than how to look good. Because in our office, attention isn't always kindness. The party was held in a downtown hotel ballroom. The kind with fake chandeliers and stiff, white tablecloths. There was a DJ in a sequin vest, passed hors d'oeuvres, and one of those ridiculous photo booths with elf hats and candy cane props. People were already half-lit when I arrived. Marketing cracked inside jokes. Sales chest-bumped each other. HR hovered near the buffet like they were waiting to write someone up. I found a table in the corner near the ice sculpture. Yes, there was an ice sculpture. I sat next to the interns. They barely acknowledged me, caught up in TikTok filters and mini sliders. From across the room, I could see my boss, Vincent Crane. The kind of man who called everyone kid, even if they had grandkids. He was surrounded by department heads, loud laughter orbiting him like satellites. I'd worked for him for 4 years. Edited every deck, rewritten every bloated memo, cleaned up every client email that came back with. "What does this mean?" scribbled in red. He once called me the invisible engine. I think he meant it as a compliment. I sipped soda from a cocktail glass and checked my phone. One unread message. My sister, sending a picture of her cat in a Santa hat. No text from anyone at the office. Not even my team. It was fine. This kind of party wasn't built for people like me. Then the music dipped. A microphone squealed. Vincent climbed onto the small stage near the bar, holding a whiskey tumbler and grinning like a man auditioning for a TED Talk. He tapped the mic. All right, people. Let's make this official." Applause. Whistles. I stayed seated. My skin prickled. He started with the usual. "What a year it's been," he said, raising his glass. "We crushed Q3. We survived 2 reorgs and a caffeine shortage. We hired new talent. We leveled up." More applause. Then came the shout-outs. To Jim in sales for landing that account no one thought he could. To Marcy in events, who somehow convinced a conference full of CEOs that cheese cubes were gourmet. Laughter. To Brent in design for inventing 5 new colors this year. One of them was aggressive beige. More laughter. I felt myself sinking. "And let's not forget our editors," he said, tilting his glass. "Especially Tessa." My heart jumped. People turned. "Tessa," Vincent said, squinting across the room. "There you are." I forced a small wave. "She's the one who makes sure none of us accidentally email the word pubic instead of public, am I right?" Laughter erupted. He kept going. "She's the grammar ninja. The human spell check. The lady who lives in the Google Docs comments." I smiled thinly. My throat tightened. "And best of all," he added with a wink, "she's been proofreading so long. She can spot a mistake faster than she can spot a date." That one hit harder. Louder laughter. A few oohs. Someone muttered, "Ouch." I sat there, frozen, cheeks burning, pulse pounding in my ears. Vincent laughed like he'd just said the cleverest thing all night. I looked at my glass, suddenly ashamed to be drinking something so childish. It was just a joke, right? Just a joke. But the worst part wasn't the joke itself. It was how normal it felt to be the punchline. And how not one person in that room thought to stop it. I didn't leave right away. I don't know why. Maybe because my feet wouldn't move. Or because my name still hung in the air like the aftertaste of something sour. Or maybe because Caleb, the intern beside me, whispered, "That was messed up," and it made me feel less alone for a breath. Vincent had already moved on, backslapping Brent from design, throwing candy canes into the crowd like he was hosting a holiday game show. The DJ cranked up a remix of Jingle Bell Rock, and someone near the bar started a conga line. I sat perfectly still,
Trying not to cry.
trying not to react, trying to swallow the same cocktail of shame and rage I'd tasted too many times before. When someone said I was too serious, too plain, too late to be interesting, it wasn't just the joke. It was the fact that no one in leadership flinched, that people laughed, that my body still knew how to make itself small. Vincent had always been like that.
Smooth. Loud.
Untouchable. He joked his way through meetings. He made comments about people's clothes, their love lives, their vibe. Always with that grin. Like if you didn't laugh, you were the one with the problem. I'd laughed before. Smiled. Nodded. Tonight, I didn't. I looked down at my plate of untouched shrimp and felt something sharp press against my ribs. A memory, maybe. A reminder. My dad used to say, "You teach people how to treat you, even if you never say a word." I had never said a word. The ballroom lights were dimmer now, warmer. Someone spilled champagne on the tablecloth beside me. A woman giggled. A man apologized. I felt invisible again, not as an insult, but as a relief. Then I saw her. She entered quietly from the side hall, pulling a coat off her shoulders. Tall, early 20s, dark curls swept into a low ponytail. No name tag, no drink. She walked with a kind of soft assurance, like she didn't need to be introduced to belong. She made a beeline toward Vincent. He turned, surprised. "Hey, kiddo." She hugged him briefly. He kissed her temple. "Everyone, this is my daughter, Liv." A few nearby staff clapped politely. Liv smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. She looked around the room slowly. Then she looked at me. I didn't know her, but something flickered there, recognition maybe. Or the way women just know when another woman is sitting in something too heavy to name. Vincent handed her a drink. "Cranberry and soda, just like you like it," he said proudly. She accepted it, but didn't drink. She was watching me. Then she looked back at her dad. Said something I couldn't hear.
He laughed.
"Oh, just warming up the crowd."
"You know me." She tilted her head. Said something else.
This time he didn't laugh. The music lowered. The DJ was announcing something, but I wasn't listening. I was watching Liv take a step forward. She set her drink down, walked toward the stage. Vincent looked confused. "What are you?" She took the mic. The room didn't go quiet instantly. These things never do. But something about her stillness, her calm, her certainty, began pulling the air inward. She looked at me again. Then she raised the microphone. "Hi," she said, voice clear and measured. "I wasn't planning to speak tonight, but I think something needs to be said." Vincent's smile faltered. Someone near me whispered, "What's happening?" And I knew. In the space between her words and the crowd's breath, I knew. This night wasn't over. Not by a long shot. The room didn't go silent. It stalled. Like someone had slammed the brakes, but the engine was still running. Liv stood at the mic, one hand steady at her side, the other loosely holding the bass like she'd done this before. Like she wasn't afraid to be the only voice in a room full of people waiting to laugh again. She wasn't smiling. "My name is Olivia Crane," she said. "Some of you know me. Most of you probably just know me as his daughter." She nodded toward Vincent. He gave a nervous chuckle. "All grown up, huh?" She ignored it. "I've spent a lot of years watching rooms like this," she continued. "Watching my dad light them up.
Charm people.
Command attention. People shifted. But I've also watched what gets left in the shadows." Now it was quiet. Vincent tilted his head.
"Leave."
She held up a hand. Not rude, just firm. "I know you love the way people laugh with you, Dad," she said. "But sometimes they're laughing because they don't know how not to." A few people near the front froze. "I heard your joke earlier. The one about Tessa." I went still. Liv turned slightly, meeting my eyes again. This time, there was no doubt. She was doing this for me. I don't know Tessa, she said. But I know what it feels like to be the quiet one. The one who works hard and goes unnoticed until someone turns them into a punchline. Vincent opened his mouth.
Closed it.
I used to laugh too, she went on, because I didn't want to be the problem. I didn't want to make things awkward. I thought if I stay small, I won't get singled out. A single cough broke the stillness. But that's not respect. That's survival. She stepped forward, just slightly. You don't get to call someone invisible and then joke about their silence. You don't get to dismiss their value with a laugh and expect applause. Now people were watching her the way they watched a fire that was getting too close to the curtain. Tessa, she said, turning fully toward me. You don't need me to defend you. I'm sure you've survived worse. But someone should have stood up years ago.
And tonight.
I can't not. I didn't know what to do with my hands. They were shaking. She looked back at the crowd. I know I'm not part of this company. I'm just someone's daughter. But I hope the next time you hear a joke like that, you ask yourself who's actually laughing and who's being forced to. A beat of silence followed. Then, soft and clear, Liv said, You're better than that, Dad. Or at least, I hope you are. She set the mic down gently.
No dramatic exit.
Just stillness. The DJ didn't cue music. The servers didn't move. It was as if the night itself had paused. Vincent looked like he'd been slapped without being touched. His face flushed, not from anger, but something closer to exposure. No one clapped. Not because they didn't want to, because they didn't know what came next. And then, slowly, Liv walked off the stage. She didn't come toward me. She didn't need to. The damage was done. But so was the shift. And I sat in that moment, not humiliated, but seen. Fully, painfully, respectfully seen. I didn't stay much longer. After Liv stepped down, the energy in the room shifted. Not crashed, just recalibrated. The music picked up again, but no one really danced. Conversation dulled. Laughter dropped half an octave. And Vincent? He retreated to a far corner, surrounded by no one for the first time all night. I grabbed my coat from the back of my chair, slipping it over my dress like armor. Caleb, the intern, caught my arm as I passed. That was wild, he whispered. You okay? I nodded.
Yeah.
I think I am. He didn't try to say more. Just nodded back. Sometimes that's enough. I stepped out into the cold December night. The air bit my cheeks, but it felt honest.
Clean.
Like it didn't owe anyone a smile. I didn't cry. I didn't rehearse a comeback I wished I'd said. I just walked. Block after block, holiday lights blurred past me. Couples laughed under awnings, taxis honked, and somewhere a street musician played a saxophone so low and lonely it felt like it was singing to me. At home, I kicked off my flats and sat on the couch without turning the lights on. I didn't want to be angry. I didn't want to be grateful either. I just wanted to exist in the strange stillness of being defended, publicly, boldly, without condition. That night, I opened my laptop and stared at the blinking cursor of an empty document. I didn't write anything for work. I didn't answer emails. I just typed, I am not a punchline. And saved it. The next morning, I arrived at the office 20 minutes early. I didn't hide behind my monitor. I didn't overcompensate with cheerfulness. I just showed up and watched how that, alone, unsettled the room. Vincent wasn't in. By noon, a memo went out. Reminder, respect in the workplace includes respect at company events. Jokes at others' expense are never appropriate.
No signature.
But the message was clear. That afternoon, I received a Teams message from a name I didn't recognize.
Liv Krana.
I meant what I said. If you ever want to grab coffee, not as my dad's employee, just two people who get it, I'd really like that. I stared at the message longer than I needed to. Then typed back. Yeah, I'd like that, too. There was no apology from Vincent. No bouquet, no corporate spin. Just distance. And that, honestly, was the best gift he could have given me. Over the next few weeks, people started treating me differently. Not in big ways. But I noticed the pauses, the longer glances, The real thank yous, the meetings where I was asked for an opinion instead of just corrections. It wasn't revolution. It was recognition. And it started because someone spoke. Someone who didn't owe me anything but knew exactly what silence can cost. Months later, over coffee and shared sarcasm, Liv asked me, "Do you regret staying that night?" I looked at her, then down at my cup. "No," I said, "because I didn't stay to be seen, but I left knowing I was." She smiled. "That's rare," she said.
Yeah.
"But sometimes, rare is exactly what you need."